All right, today we're going to wrap up this unit, and we want to look at just a couple of things that happen after the war is over with. First thing we're going to do is look at the United Nations first. This is what replaced the League of Nations. So what you're going to do is take a look at their website. I'd just like for you to browse around and see what kinds of things does the United Nations do today. And then you're going to click the video to watch this and see if you were able to determine from their website what is it that they do. All right. And then what about the Jewish people after World War II? Would you want to stay in a country that had done things like were done during the Holocaust? I mean, even the people the German people who disapproved of everything that happened, you probably wouldn't feel particularly comfortable there anymore. So now you have a question about where are we going to go? What are we going to do? So a lot of these families had lost family businesses. They'd lost people. They were very displaced. So I want you to look and see where they end up going here as far as, and this is connected to the United Nations because that's the group that helps organize this. Now, the actions that are taken here are going to create future conflicts in the area that they located them in because they took a group of people and located them in somewhere else. So I want you to take a look again, what does the United Nations do, and see if you can match up the issues, and then you can check your answers. So these are the things that the United Nations is interested in. So if you look at this, like this disease breaks out in Southeast Asia, what category would that fall under for the United Nations? And you can just use a letter to answer that. And the answers are at the bottom, so you can check your answers. You're not submitting this. It's just a little bit of practice. All right. And then this is kind of similar. These are the committees that the United Nations is organized in. Notice one deals with children, one deals with the environment, one is about the economy, one all by itself deals with AIDS, and then one deals with human rights. So this is a group of people from all around the world who try to settle issues that pop up in other countries. So again, look at 1 through 5 and see if you can match them to A through E here, and then scroll down and check your answers for that. So this is a self-check sort of thing. Now, this one is a little bit more difficult. This is what happens when something is brought to the United Nations. Okay, so here's the problem. It exists somewhere in the world, and then it is presented to the United Nations. All right, so the United Nations decides then what committee does this problem fall under? So it goes to the committee that is most likely to be dealing with it. The countries who are involved with it, maybe it was the original AIDS problem. So many African countries were involved in that because that's where it originated. They can send delegates to the United Nations to talk about what's going on in their countries and what the perspective is that they have. At that point, the United Nations tries to come up with a plan of action, a compromise if there's a conflict between two countries, and a caucus is just a meeting. So they're going to try to come up with ideas and proposals that will try to solve or help this problem. And then that goes to a formal written resolution. In other words, this document is going to be an official document that is going to govern or help govern the United Nations. And they're going to share that with countries and say, these are the guidelines. This is what we think you should do. And so that in doing that, that typically makes the world a little bit better. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put these steps in order. I've got them as A, B, C, and D. The right order may be D, A, C, B, or what that means is you think D happens first. The representative from each country discusses a problem. So study the diagram and then put these steps in order. And I think, yeah, that's it. Okay, that's it for today. See you tomorrow.